What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dave Mo Flips, Team Us 100%. You already know what it is. So, first and foremost, just want to say God bless. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're making a lot of money and staying healthy. So, in today's video, let's get into this. It's going to be a short but sweet one. I was talking to my homeboy the other day, and I get asked this quite often, and it's, how can we price cars, right? Because the obvious thing is, oh, the prices at the auctions are so high, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like a lot of that's coming from seasoned dealers, all right? I've been in the game for a minute now, and I'll be honest with you, the prices are going up. But it's not going up to the point where you're not making bread, right? So let's talk about it. The only thing you need to know, I don't care about your apps, I don't care what app they are, Black Book, NADA, KBB, MMR, I don't care about none of those apps, nothing. I very rarely, if I'm looking for a car to retail, will I ever use an app, because I just don't care. The only thing I'm going to use, the only two things I'm going to use are these. Here we go. What I want you to do is learn your numbers like the back of your hand. Great story. Yesterday I was talking to my homeboy. He was like, oh, I want to buy this car, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, you're probably looking to spend about $16,000 on that car. Now, I never purchased one before. Don't know nothing about the car, whatever. But I, just from watching auctions and watching and looking where I look to sell cars, I know what they're going to retail for, so I know what you're going to be paying for it. And I kind of felt like what you should pay for it if it needed some work. So I hit him with a 16, and then he was like, he tried to call me out almost. But I don't think he did, but maybe he did on you know, maybe, I don't know. But any which way, he was like, oh, it's kind of like you already seen the car, because that's how spot on I was with the MMR. And I said to him, I was like, nah, I really don't start doing my homework for vehicles till the day before the auction, because if I start now, there's only going to be so many cars, and then I might miss them. But if I do it all at one shot, I know what's up. And to be honest with you guys, because I kind of know my numbers, so no, I'm not going to front. I know my numbers really well. I'm not necessarily scared to buy cars on the fly. You feel me? Like, I could just see a car going through the auction and be like, boom, I know what I'm going to sell that car for, and this is what I'm going to pay for it. Because, here's why. In my free time, I actually do this as a habit so much now. I'm not sitting here watching, you know, television. I'm not sitting here doing anything other than really, really looking at Facebook Marketplace and looking at Craigslist. And Craigslist is a far second. You feel me? Like, Craigslist, to me, the Craigslist buyer is a different type of buyer now, because the shift has changed. It used to be like print, right? Like newspapers and like flyers and like little small publications. And you would call them up and be like, hey, I want to post a car. They'll say, okay, what areas do you want to be in? And you would pick the certain zip codes that you want to advertise your car in. Now, then from there, it kind of transitioned into Craigslist, right? And then everyone was kind of getting away from publications because it was so simple just to jump on your phone or your computer, look at a bunch of cars on Craigslist. Around that time, in between Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, there was like OfferUp. There was a few of them, but OfferUp's the one that comes to mind. I personally never used any of them, especially OfferUp, because in the name OfferUp, it already puts that, it plants a seed in the potential buyer to start negotiating right from the rip. It is a habit that I don't negotiate, period. Like, unless you're in my face with money in hand, ready to buy right now on the spot, all we're doing is blowing smoke, and that's not something I do. I don't care about it. I don't care about talking about money. If you ain't got the bread in your hand to spend right now at the point, all you're doing is talking. And I ain't got time for it. I'm not going to front. And I'll make a whole video on how I handle that type of stuff. But Facebook Marketplace. So when I'm looking at cars to buy, I don't care about the MMR. It's nice to beat MMR, but that's more along the lines of like an ego thing, right? Black Book, I've never used Black Book a day in my life. What else? The NADA, I only use NADA if I'm financing cars, and the only time I'll ever use a particular app would be if I'm financing a car and I need to know what the bank's going to pay the check for, because street value versus the bank check are two totally different things. but I'm talking about cash cars here. So when I'm looking to see what I'm going to spend on the car, I look to see what they're selling for or what they're listed for. Let me say that, because people can list cars for whatever the hell they want. It doesn't mean they're going to get that dollar amount. So once I know what I'm going to sell the car for, that already tells me what I'm going to pay for the car. Very simple. Let's say you have a car up, you see other cars posted, and you want to say, okay, I want to compete with this one, but you got to give some room to negotiate if you're a person that likes to negotiate, or if you're a firm seller, you're a firm seller. Figure out the number that you're going to put, the bottom line number, the absolute bottom line that you'll accept for anything, which is your profit margin, okay? Deduct that from what you think you're going to sell it for. So for argument's sake, let's just say you're going to sell a car for $10,000, okay? That's the dollar amount that you're going to sell the car for. You know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you will take no less than $10,000 for said vehicle, because you went on Facebook Marketplace and you see what the other vehicles are going for. So you know, with beyond a shadow of a doubt, you're going to make 10 grand on this car. You're going to sell it for 10 grand rather. You're not going to profit 10 grand. You're going to sell it for 10 grand. You want to make a $3,000 profit. So boom, you got your 10 grand. You drop it down 3,000. So now you're at 7. Now here's what everyone's going to change and fluctuate. What is your comfort level in terms of recon? Now, are you buying cleaner vehicles? Every car that comes from the auction, in my opinion, would need something, okay? So are you a guy or person who's going to say, okay, you know, most of the cars I'm buying need about $500 worth of recon. Window switches, brakes, AC, alternators, whatever. Or are you someone who's like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000? It depends where you're at and what you're buying, okay? Let's just say, for argument's sake, you're a $1,000 person. And again, these are not real numbers. These are numbers I'm just using for easy math, okay? So $10,000 is your bottom line on the car. You want a $3,000 profit. We deduct that from the 10 grand. And now we're at 7,000, okay? From 7,000, you're going to say $1,000 for incidentals. So now you're at $6,000. $6,000 is the highest number you can pay for the vehicle at the auction. Plain and simple. So MMR, everything else, all those apps that you see people using, all that stuff, it's all a show. Because if you really know what you're going to sell the car for, you don't need anything else. You see what I'm saying? The Manheim app is really great if you want to do auto checks, because it's included in Manheim, all right? But usually, if you're buying dollar menu cars, it doesn't matter what it is, with the exception of rebuilt titles, and I don't even care about that. If you're buying bank cars to do bank financing, then you're going to want to know about the announcements, okay? Structural damage, frame damage, one and the same, but they get announced differently. Theft recovery, accidents, all this stuff affects your bottom line. TMU, true mileage unknown, TMU. Has the odometer been rolled back, or was it potentially inputted incorrectly at some point? Whatever. That's when you're going to want to figure out, you know, your CRS systems, or call your financial institution and figure out where they're getting the numbers that they use to cut you checks, right? NADA, KBB, do they have their own app? Like, what is it that they base it on to cut you your check? That's the only time that you'll really want to be able to use an app, all right, is when you're at that level. Because unless, and again, I believe that if you're doing it for so long, you're already going to know what the bank's going to cut you. You already know what you're going to pay. But if not, you're going to have to use the app, okay? Like, I know I used to mess with a company called Lobel. Lobel used NADA. I think it was Clean Retail. So I think it was Rough Retail, something like that. And the way I remembered it was there was 4 columns, and it was always the third one. It wasn't the highest, it was the second highest. And that's what we used, and that's what the check was. So when I was buying cars to finance, I had already known, let me look at this and figure out what they're going to get me. And then I always got $2,000 down, so I added that to the equation, and I knew what I was going to spend on the cars. That's a whole nother thing in of itself, but for the majority of us here, you don't need an app. Just know what you're going to sell the car for, deduct your profit, deduct what you're going to use for recon, or what you assume you're going to use for recon. Always, when it comes to what you're going to sell it for, go for the lowest number. The reason being is because if you go higher and you take lower, or if you go lower, whatever, it could mess it up. So if you go with the lowest and you get more money for the car, you just put extra money in your pocket. Your profit margin's always going to be the profit margin. That's what it is. And when you're going for your recon, always use the highest number that you're going to spend on the car, or you think you're going to spend on the car. Because if you end up spending less money on the reconditioning, the recon, then you've also added more money to that $3,000 profit, okay? You can't go wrong if you do this. Number one, you're going to make money. Number two, you're going to be a lot faster than most people at the auction, all right? While everyone else is out there using their apps and trying to figure out how they're going to sell this, what they're going to make, you already know. I've seen so many cars, and it stayed in your brain. This car goes for this. This car goes for this. This car goes for this. You are a powerhouse. You are in the lane. Boom, 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 boom. You're not wasting time. You're not doing anything. You're out there. You mean business. You feel me? You're out there making money. Like, plain and simple, you're making money. Who cares if the auction prices are higher? That just means retail prices are higher. So you mean to tell me that if a 2008 Honda Accord was going for $3,000 last year, the year before, and it's now $5,000, you're not seeing them for $7,000 on Marketplace? That's not how it works, people. It's a demand-driven business, okay? The demand for used cars has gone up, therefore the prices have gone up, which means it didn't only go up at auctions, it went up at retail. It's a simple equation. I don't understand why people are making such a big deal about it. Oh, I spent $3 grand on this car last year. Yeah, motherfucker, and you sold it for $5. This year you're gonna spend $5 and you're gonna sell it for $7. You still made the same $2,000. Did you put more money into it? Yes. Well, I hate to tell you this, we printed out a bunch of money. We weakened the dollar bill. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This is what we did. As a country, this is what we did. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just gas, it's eggs, it's milk, it's meat, it's everything. Everything's gone up, people. This is just what it is. So if you're sitting here and you're afraid because someone keeps telling you the auction prices are crazy high, look at any post-sale sheet and then look at the retail value of that vehicle, okay? Oh, well, dealers are paying retail for some cars. Correct, they paid retail for some cars forever. They're usually the huge buy here, pay here guys or girls, right? Why do they pay retail for their cars? Because someone else was bidding them up that high. And they know here in the state of Florida, the highest you could charge is like 29% interest. Now it fluctuates on the car you do. But let's just say at 20% interest because you're a buy here, pay here person, okay? You know you're gonna put the car out for whatever you want because you're dealing with people that have subprime credit, right? So you're gonna put the car out for what you want. They're gonna make they're gonna make payments directly to you. And you're just making all that interest, plus you hit them over the head for what you said you were going to sell the car for anyway. It's just the buy here, pay here game, guys. That's why, to me, the buy here, pay here game is by far the best game in the car business. That and title loans, but that's a whole nother video in of itself. A whole nother business. Super tricky to get into title loans. Not to get into it, to stay in business and not break the law. Super tricky. Anyway. So yeah, so are there people paying? Absolutely. You know, you'll see people messing up all the time and paying retail for cars. It happens, okay? Moral of the story. All I need you to know is what you're going to sell it for, what you want to make profit, and what the recon is. Subtract that from what you want to sell it for, and that's what you could pay for the car. Don't worry about what the next man is doing, the next person is doing. Don't worry about that. Who cares what they paid last year? Who cares what they paid 10 years ago? Who gives a damn? Stay in your lane, make your bread, don't tell no one about your come-ups, right? Because that's rule number one. Jealousy's you already know what I'm going to say. So keep it close to the chest, keep it in the breast pocket, you know what I'm saying? You don't need to brag, you don't need to do anything. Make your money, stack your paper, be ready to buy when the time is right. I caught more deals from people coming up to a group of us saying, oh, I want to sell this car, I need this much for it. I'm looking around, no one's got bread. I'm like, well, I'll give you this for it. And again, I'm chopping it down. Boom. I'll give you this for it. That's it. So again, just stack your paper and be ready because those deals are out there. They're in any type of market where you buy and sell. I don't care if it's fruit or if it's houses. If you got the bread and you got the backing and there's a good deal and you act fast enough, you're going to get the deal. Guys, God bless. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Take care of your loved ones. I'm out. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this helped you out a little bit. I just don't want to see you guys wasting time. I want to see you make money because remember, when you guys win, I feel like I win. We're out.